Okay, so we are live and we're just going to wait now for attendees. And we're just going to see. So they started to join now. Okay, yeah. Thanks everybody for being really patient. You'll notice I'm in a car, so I just want to apologise first of all that the reason we're late tonight is because I'm driving up to Northern Ireland, and my trip just didn't go to plan because we ran into traffic, etc., etc. So I'm still sat in the car and we're unpacking, trying to get into our hotel. So, but it's going to take place here, and the wonders of the online world. And so this is the Equine Academy Open Night. I'm Phillippa Christie, the founder of the Equine Academy, and I'm joined tonight by two amazing ladies, one who is digitally green screened over a horse. That's the herbal-tastic Amelia Phillips, and then we've also got Princess Sadie Beech as well, who's going to talk to us about how horses learn. We're going to see what we can unearth about that. So I know we've had some really cool questions come in already, but if you have a question during the evening, the session, then just pop them in the chat there, and that's going to be kind of my job, is to monitor that and make sure that your questions get heard, and also to keep these two from talking like complete nonsense, you know, for an hour, which is liable to happen as well. So hello, how are you doing, girls?
Hello.
Thanks so much, and thank you. I mean, I don't know if anybody has seen now Amelia's course, so we've got quite a few participants already joined us here, but I don't know how many of those, if they've done your course at all. It really has been the most popular of all the courses. You know, it's been the most accessed and the most completed, and there must be like 150 odd certificates out there for your course, which is amazing.
I'm stunned and confused. It was just such a little idea.
Well, an amazing little idea. It's awesome.
I had no idea nobody was already doing this. It never occurred to me that there wasn't other people. I mean, it's to me, it's such an obvious thing.
And it's kind of like, because so we met, didn't we, when you were with Nick and the gang. You were all planning on doing a big event in Bulgaria, and you were part of that with a course working with herbs, and it just sounded so exciting. And then when the academy was kind of launching, you know, you kind of put this idea, and it's like, oh my god, this is brilliant, like pharmacy in your field, like, and that's just, it's just grown.
It grew out of all proportion. It began, as you say, with an event where they had lots of different very famous guest speakers, and they said, would I mind going and taking people on a foraging walk? And I thought, well, of course I can do that, but wouldn't it be better to build on that? So we decided that we would try and do a little workshop. And then of course COVID came and changed everybody's plans, but I'd already committed to doing this workshop, and I thought, well, why don't we turn that into something online that people can still have access to? And then the academy came along, and oh, perfect! It's the ideal learning platform.
I'm just going to turn I've got vibrations just happening there, so sorry about that.
Good vibrations.
And it's worked out really well on the platform as well. Your videos are brilliant, by the way. I just think that, you know, you should just start your own comedy channel.
You haven't seen the gaffes.
I think we need an outtakes. I'd like to start like a poll, like comment in the chat if you want an outtakes video on Amelia Phillips's course, Pharmacy in Your Field. If we get enough people on that, we will see to it, you know, because we will nag you for those videos. And of course, we don't want to forget Sadie, because Sadie, for anybody that doesn't know, hey Sadie, Sadie's from Sadie Beech Horsemanship. That's right. And you so you do quite a lot of things. Do you want to tell people what you do?
How do you sum it up? My goodness me. It's quite hard to sum up, really. But well, basically been bitless for quite some time now. That kind of came into the bridless stuff, the liberty side of things. So yeah, I think it's just trying to do what I do with my horses with less and less equipment, basically, is kind of how it's all come about, really. So, and yeah, just doing it with, you know, the relationship in mind, and having it a two-way thing, sort of the two-way communication in there. But yeah, so just trying to do more with less, I suppose. Just so yeah,
that's a really good way to sum it up, because so you have one course in the academy which is called How Horses Learn, And that's based on both your experience working with horses, and also you've done some training in equine psychology as well. I think you've done an online diploma course in that, which is great. And was really, I mean, I think we did the same course, and it had loads of really, I think it was written by Fair Horsemanship, but don't quote me on that, but it was a really, really good course and a great introduction. And I think even though we knew a lot of the stuff that was going on, it was a really nice way to structure it. And I think you've kind of developed a little bit more on that course, because you've got some great video examples as well, working with your horse, Flicker.
Yeah, I know for me, I'm quite a visual learner. I like to see things being done. You know, I like pictures, I like videos. So for me, when I'm you know, I enjoy teaching face to face for that reason. I can, you know, either show somebody or show somebody a different way. You know, you can be really hands-on and, you know, give as many physical examples as possible. So then when it comes to online learning, just videos seem a natural progression with that. So yeah, I know that I enjoy learning that way and it helps me. So it just seems, yeah, there's gonna be more people that...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, you know, I learn really well visually, so it just seems something great to offer everyone else. So yeah.
And it really does enrich the course as well, because when you talk about positive reinforcement and different and negative reinforcement, so you kind of, you don't stick to one thing, you kind of just show both and then say, look, this is like what it's about. And I think it's a great way to actually learn about the actual psychology of what's going on, and to see how it's applied as well. So you really do get both sides of it, and it kind of, sometimes the penny needs to drop by seeing both and putting them together. And I think as well, Amelia, with your course, that's a great thing, because I've always, I don't know about anyone else, I've always found kind of the idea of going and choosing plants terrifying, because it's like, what if I pick the wrong thing and kill my horse?
Yeah, it's not that easy to kill them, to be fair. I've tried, but
that duck's gonna get it one day.
The duck, and he's just one of many. They obliterate everything, the ducks. No, the idea of going out and picking the wrong plant, yeah, that is scary, and that's kind of how it started. As you can see, the place where my horses live, it's not stereotypical grazing. And when I moved there, I didn't know anyone who spoke English, so I was looking at all these things going, is it safe? What is this? I've never seen it before. And nobody could tell me. They just kept saying bilky. Okay, well, that just means herb. It helped me out a little bit. So I had to get learning quickly. And then I noticed that the locals were actually asking if they could come and collect herbs from my field to sell. Right. And I thought, these are actually valuable medicines then? Why did nobody tell me? So maybe I should be doing something with them. And being so far from medical help, I think it helps enormously if you know something to do in the event of a problem. And when I moved there was no online tax shops. There was certainly no physical tax shops. And it was really hard. I was just bringing products over from England all the time in a suitcase, and then you have to be a bit shy about using how much, because you know you're going to run out and you've got to wait for someone to go to England and bring you it back. So if you can make something yourself that's at least as good, if not better, it takes all that pressure away.
And sometimes I think as well, like, we don't always know what's going into what we buy.
No, I don't think we have any idea. I'm sorry, just the noise going to go off in the background now. No, we haven't got any idea what's in there. And we assume that it's all good and it's all beneficial to the animals. And it's a lot of the time it's really not. There's a lot of junk in there, particularly when you get into terms of preservatives and just to make extra money. And they'll label a product and say that it's herbal based. And when you look through the ingredients, the herbs are maybe 3%.
Yeah.
Think,
but also potency as well, you know, but I get that, you know. I mean, in the free course, she shows how to make a mane and tail detangler and conditioner, and that's absolutely fantastic. I really want to try that. But I mean, for Sadie and I have both been testing your salve, and you know, when I actually come to put this on live, I'm going to put a couple of pictures over, but I put a picture on my own profile as well to show just how quickly, you know, that sort of worked, and it just absolutely took just all of the itchiness away, and it was great because I got stung by a horsefly. Sadie managed to just self-harm. Stinging herself.
It's the faith that you had that, you know, this is going to be okay. I've never met this lady in person, but she said, so I'm going to just stick my hand in nettles.
I know, that just sort of shows complete faith, really, doesn't it? Or madness.
She's so brave, and I'm really proud of her for doing that. But yeah, I've got some photographs I should probably send in myself, of me, of other people, and of horses. You know, it just being used on horses, and that's just one of several salves that you can make up that do different things. And there's obviously lots of other formulas as well.
So tell us about the new course. Sorry to cut you off. So tell us about the new course, because the new course, so the free course that's out there, you can learn how to make this conditioner, and you can also learn about the herbs, about foraging, and it really does guide you through. It takes you on a walk, an introduction into the woods, which I just think is wonderful. And you really do, you really know so much, and you're so passionate. But you've taken, you know, that little bit there, which is a great start for anybody doing the full course, and now you've got all of these salves, all of these balms, all of these different things as well that people can make on the whole course. I mean, it's quite immense, actually. There's so much there, isn't there?
Yeah, once I'd started, I didn't really know when to stop, clearly. And you need different formulas for different things. So sometimes you want your horse to be taking something internally, and for different reasons. Sometimes a nice hot tea can produce a steam that they inhale, and that's really great for getting things down into the lungs if they've got some kind of respiratory problem. Other times you want something topical. So yes, if you've got a wound, you might want a salve. But what happens if you want to cool your horse down quickly? Well, you can make a liniment ready for that. We've made up some, well, I've got them here. I've made some little ointments for treating oral plaques. I'm trying to think what I've made. So there's recipes for fermentations that are really, well, it's all easy to make, to be honest. There's no point saying anything.
Well, you're making it, in all fairness, you've been making it on a camping stove in the woods with like,
yeah, it's a log burner in the woods. The whole thing's been either that or been done on the balcony. I think there's one recipe I did on the barbecue because it was too hot to be in the woods. I'll just go on the balcony. But yeah, we can make herbal waters, so you can make up bug sprays, or you can make a wound spray, and just all the things that you might need in the tap room.
Yeah.
But make it simple. And there's several different formulas, and then you can sort of look at the different herbs and their properties and their energetics, which isn't fully covered in the baby course. And you can then, using the formulas you've got and the information you've got, you can put together something that might work better for your particular horse's problems, or for what you've got access to plant-wise.
So really is offering like all around. Sorry. Just open the door. Sorry, I'm gonna have to stop. We're back. What's this?
Turn the lights off and go to that battery.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Small crisis.
I'm still sat in the car. I know we're kind of like working ad hoc here. So they can do all that, but it's important actually that maybe the people take the free course right now and get out there and get collecting those herbs, isn't it?
Yes, go look at the free course. It's got all of the herbs that we cover. Go out, grab them. The free course covers how to take them, where to take them from, how to dry them and then store them. And then when you've got access to the full course, which shouldn't be too long now, if I knew when to stop, it would have been quicker. And then when you've got the full course, you've already got the materials that you need there ready to go.
And we're thinking as well that in the student groups, so the Equine Academy also has a student group. Sorry, it's just waving goodbye to my husband and child, and I have no idea where they're going because I have no idea where they're telling. So I have to ring them. But so people, yeah, so hopefully you can come on the Equine Academy students group, and if there's anything you're missing from the course, maybe you could give a shout out, or if you've got loads of something in abundance, maybe you could just say, look, I've got this, and you could do some swaps, and maybe people can kind of work together like that.
I would love that. I would love people to be swapping and showing off what they've made. But also, you know, if you look at again into the sections on properties and energetics, you can trade out plants. So if you look in the field and you go, I haven't got that, but I've got that, I wonder, yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
And I can be reached through the Academy's student group, so I can always give some guidance on swapsies and substitutions and whatever. But it just, you know, it's really easy. Take the access course, the free course, go and collect some plants, and we'll have some fun.
Well, that's fantastic, and just well done you for putting it together. And I know you maybe have plans as well. You were thinking about looking at developing an app or something of that, and I think we'd all love an app where there are apps out there where you can find plants and it'll tell you what they are, but it wouldn't tell you things like what you're saying about the properties. And
no, and there's nothing really on herbalism for horses. Not for, I mean, there's lots of people talking about herbs that horses can take, but not about making those herbs up into a product that you can keep in the tap room for just in case.
And for the riders as well, don't forget. I know you've made things for the riders to
Yeah,
use.
there's a couple of products there for the riders. There's a hand lotion bar instead of having a cream, because sometimes in winter you get really cracked and chapped. And there's a lip salve. A lip salve.
I think we all need that, don't we, ladies? Like in the winter time, because we all end up with the chaplets.
Well, yeah, this is it. You're outside a lot and you need some protection from the elements. I gave somebody a lip seal last week, and she came back to me yesterday, in fact, and said, "That's the best lip seal ever. It's worked. I have to put it on once a day. Lasts all day. It's fabulous."
And speaking of somebody who's out in the rain all the time, hi Sadie.
Oh yeah.
You stung yourself with a nettle, didn't you?
I did. I took one for the team. I wanted to test Amelia's sow. She sent it all the way to me, so I was like, I'm gonna have to test it. I want to test it. My ponies weren't coming in with any bites or stings or anything. It's like, oh, come on, guys. I was like, right, that's it. I'm just gonna have to arm in the nettles. I was like, gritting my teeth, and yeah. But it was a really great way of testing it, because I could obviously, obviously on my horses, I could see changes when they finally came in with something I could use the salve on. But obviously with myself, I could feel everything that was going on. So to be able to say, oh, after maybe 30 seconds it felt like this, and after maybe another minute it felt like this, so it seemed worth doing.
Yeah, your horses can't tell you, so if you let if the humans do the testing, they can then know whether that thing works or not, and then they know it's safe to put on the horse, or it's comfortable for the horse, or whatever. We don't want to mistreat our horses, do we?
No, that's it. I'm more than happy for human testing in that way. I'd rather test it on me than my ponies.
Oh, well, for legal reasons. So just to be like, if you're looking at testing for things like, do take the course and learn the information about that, because you also go through all of the contraindications as well that could, bring up problems.
And the identification, which is the big one.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up putting poison ivy in there.
It's not so much fun, but there's a remedy for it.
That was a great answer. So Sadie, I know that you've put your course together, How Horses Learn, which is a really great starting point for anybody who is kind of maybe thinking, why does my horse do this, or how do we start in training, like getting all those basics in there. And you've done all that work with your own horses.
Yeah, that's it. I wanted to I've so many people ask me an awful lot of questions, along the training line, and what would you do in this situation, what would you do in that situation. It's like, well, there's an awful lot of information you need to know before that. So I want to start from the very, very beginning. We cover management in the course, and diet as well, briefly, because it's all the things that, influence how your horse is feeling on a particular day. So it's not necessarily a training issue, it could be a management issue, or XYZ. So it's like, right, I wanted to write something that starts from the very beginning, go through all these kind of areas, and then that your horse is likely set up in a frame of mind ready to learn, and then you can start looking at actually teaching your horse. So yeah.
And you're not just doing that. I don't know how, Sadie, you get all the stuff into your life, because you're not, if you're not crocheting a blanket to make a den for your son, who is absolutely adorable, by the way. He has got the most gorgeous red curls, can I just say? I'm so jealous. I want red curls. I have to. This is bottle. This is just bottle. Not natural, although the freckles would say ginger, but it's just not. So anyway, but if you're not crocheting things for your son, you're out absolutely soaking wet, you're shearing sheep, you are writing courses, you've written like several courses, you're filming all the time. I honestly think that there's more daylight in Wales than there is over here. I don't know where you get time.
Oh, I wish there was more daylight here in Wales. My God, what I could get done with more daylight hours. My God.
The world couldn't handle it, Sadie.
Maybe she moves at the speed of Wonder Woman.
I try my best.
All of a sudden you can move so much faster.
Life is busy. It is busy, but it's one of those things when you have a passion, you make time for the things in life that really matter to you. And for me, obviously my family is a big one, but my horses they're just a passion. It's not just a job, it's an absolute passion. So I find the time.
You're very good. And so you've got 2 more courses, like I said, at the moment that you're working on. So I know there's the Liberty course. It's already online on a Facebook group. But obviously, Facebook groups, they are a great platform to kind of share information, but they're not particularly great at creating a learning platform. So we're you're just reconfiguring that a little bit at the moment, so it's going to be a bit more interactive, and there's going to be, you know, more to go through, and that's about Liberty. Do you want to just talk about that for a minute or so?
Sure. Yeah. Again, I want to start from the beginning, just because again, I have a lot of people contact me saying, you know, I love, you know, I post some videos of what me and my ponies are doing, and oh wow, that looks amazing. How did you do that? And it's like, well, you know, it starts from the, you know, the really simple stuff. So I wanted to put something together where, you know, assuming that somebody had done absolutely no Liberty whatsoever before with their horse, where would you start, and what's the easiest way of kind of, you know, working your way through to doing some of the really awesome stuff, which is just basically the simple stuff progressed. It's like, you know, basically it starts from the simple stuff. So it's like, oh, you know, this seems really boring compared to the cool stuff that I've seen people do on Facebook, but it's like, well, this is where that cool stuff starts. So yeah, I want to start from the very beginning with it. And as you say, I popped it on the Facebook group earlier in the year, just so I could, you know, be sharing, you know, I could be sharing it with people.
And also gauge like what people want to know. I mean, you've done a great job of really listening to people's feedback and developing the course, and I've taken it myself, and I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was really well thought through. I think your steps are nice and small. And in fact, I think that's been kind of a theme on the Academy. People have, when they've come to do the courses, and I can see that with Amelia's as well, like, we're saying to you, break it down so we can all take little bite-sized nuggets, because there's nothing worse than going out and just getting loads of information thrown at you and you're like, what? And it's like that with a lesson sometimes. Do you ever feel like, you know, you're working with someone for 45 minutes, an hour, you think, I don't know if they're going to be able to take all of this information you're trying to cherry pick up. And actually, in some ways it's better to have this as well, that they can do and they can revisit it.
Yes, absolutely. And it's almost setting people up for how they should go out and approach training with their horses as well. It's like, don't go out there and bombard your horses with 3, 4, 5 lessons. It's a case of work on little steps, just each day, you know, taking that next step. And so yeah, it's the same thing with helping people. And it's like, right, here's just little bite-sized bits of information that will steadily get you to where you want to go. You know, in the moment, it doesn't seem like, oh, really, this takes me to that really cool stuff, that really cool video I saw on Facebook. It's like, it will if you just take the time with each little step. You know, the simple stuff turns into the really cool stuff.
That's it. And I think with what I like about the How Horses Learn course is that, yeah, you've got the theory with all of the like equine psychology side of things. So you've got to learn a little bit about the horse's emotions. You've got, it teaches you how to put a plan together to create those little steps for your horse as well. So you're getting taught through this sort of shaping plan in a way already. It's not coronavirus, okay. And I just had to break the mood there. And you know, at the same time, you're also getting a plan together to do the same thing with your horse. And that How Horses Learn course would feed really well into the Liberty course.
Yeah,
and Liberty would feed well into the bridleless course, because I think we have had so many people absolutely interested in the bridleless.
Yes, well, that's coming soon as well. Yeah, that one's coming. More daylight hours are required. I'm getting there.
We're getting now. Just to warn you, you know, we're going towards solstice now.
Yes,
winter solstice. Yeah.
yeah. This is kind of, you know, the How Horses Learn course is very much, it will set you up for any other course you want to do. Basically, it's like, if you kind of, you know, you take this course, it gives you a really great kind of foundation layer, which you could then go off and do the bridleless or the Liberty, but they will, as you say, feed into each other as well, because everything you do with your horse, you're aiming to build that stronger relationship and that strong communication with them. So the more that you can do will build into everything else. So it seems like, you know, I want to do bridleless riding. It's like, well, have you considered maybe doing some Liberty work, you know, trying to test your communication that way first and play that way? It all feeds into itself. It's not a case of, you know, just whip the bridle off and yay, I'm riding bridle. It's like, well, yeah, but maybe start building more communication in other areas, which will make it so much more fine-tuned when you do the cool stuff, like when you finally take that bridle off.
Brilliant. And for so for tonight, because we're live, If you go to the website after this session, so give me a couple of minutes afterwards to get on there, and if you put in the words beech, so Beech, that's how Sadie Beech spells it. So Beech 20. Okay, you'll get 20% off Sadie's course. Okay, and that's just for the next 48 hours. That's only to the people who are on this live. I know. And they will so they'll get that 20% discount there. So if you just log on, you go to enroll, and at the bottom you'll see you fill out your details to enroll, and there's a coupon there, so you can just put that coupon in, and it will automatically take off 20%. So it's worth going on there. That's only going to be valid for the next 48 hours, and then when we put this video out on YouTube, obviously then it won't work anymore. So we're on Thursday now, so you've got between now and Sunday to essentially go on there and get that course. So that's Beech 20. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. And so go on and grab Sadie's course, because I think you'll really enjoy it. And we also, just speaking about the bridal list a little bit, because Amelia, you had a question, didn't you, for Sadie?
Yeah, I was sort of wondering, you see all these people riding bridal lists and you think, it's mind-blowing. How are they having any level of understanding? And obviously the biggest thing is fear. You take the bridle away, and how will I control the horse? But you sort of think, well, can anybody do this? Or is it just for, the really super duper wonderful riders with these super highly schooled horses? How do you make that accessible to real people?
It is absolutely, anybody can do this. Anybody really can. It's I actually, when you asked me this question yesterday, it made me think of somebody had said to me last year, actually, I think it was one of Phillippa's courses. They said, oh wow, you're so brave to ride bridleless. Excuse me, you're so brave to ride bridleless. And it actually confused me a little bit, because like, well, I don't feel brave. I don't feel like some, super duper, amazing rider when I'm doing it. The thing is, for me, it's taken a lot of time to get to this. Like I said, I was saying earlier about starting at that foundation level we've done loads of other things together, me and my horses, and we've just taken those little steps, those methodical steps to get to this place. So I think, this is why I wanted to put this course together, because it provides that framework that you can start from wherever you are and work your way up to riding bridleless. And the thing is, you don't have to take the bridle off to be riding bridleless. You can pretend like your bridle's not there, So when it comes to, if, there is a little bit of, oh, I don't know if I want to take the bridle off yet. Well, don't do it. The moment will come when you feel like, what, my reins are getting in the way. I don't even use them anymore. We've taken all, we've slowly worked through our steps to the point that actually I don't really use them much anymore. So that's the time to then, take the bridle off. But absolutely, yes, anybody can ride bridleless, and any pony can be ridden bridleless. It's just, as I say, the time you put in to those little steps towards that, super amazing communication that allows you to be bridleless, basically.
That's really good advice, actually, to just leave the bridle there and not use it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen so many posts of people saying, oh, I just took the bridle off and off we went. I was like, oh, I was like, I'm so glad it went well and you lived.
And actually, I think we've probably all seen horror stories. I mean, I suppose for me as well, I think some people say, oh, I took the bit out and I was fine. And it's like, well, I've got it with some clients, and you take the bit out, and actually the horse just goes straight through the bridle. It doesn't matter how strong a bridle you put on. It's like, okay, this isn't a bridle issue, this is a training issue, and actually we need to go back. You're just not ready for bitless yet. And some people don't want to hear that, but actually it's better to, like you say, it's better to work in. And like, if I was working with somebody who's wanted to go bitless, I would probably say try to use your reins less and less with the bit. So in that same way, because it's like you're less reliant on the reins to stop and to do all the other things, because you're working on your seat and your legs. And I love how because you and I, we were doing a project together with a bitless and bridleless book, so Sadie and I, it's very exciting. Sadie and I worked together last year, and Sadie's actually coming to me in a couple of weeks, aren't you? So you're flying over to us. I know, don't bring anything with you. But anyway, we've got a mask for you and everything. It'll be fine. And She'll probably need that for the smell of the farm. Although you're used to that, aren't you? So you'll be fine. But yeah, so we're working on bitless and bridleless. So you go through quite a lot in your book, which is, well, your book, our book, but it's still really exciting. And I love the fact that, you know, where we resonated was with safety, I think.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I've always been super safety conscious. You know, I've had horses. You know, I've backed many a youngster. I've had horses come to me for years for backing, and you know, I've heard people say that again. Oh wow, that's a pretty, you know, risky field to be working in. It's like, well, you know, I'm very methodical with what I do. I take the time that is needed to, you know, feel like I want to feel safe on that pony. You know, it's like I want to send that pony home to the owner and they're feeling totally safe to get on the pony, but I want to feel safe getting on that pony. You know, so for me, safety is absolutely number one. And even though, yeah, you know, I ride bridleless in big open fields kind of thing, but safety is still the biggest issue for me. So, you know, my ponies still have days where, you know, they're a little on their toes and, you know, a bit excited that day. It's like, maybe I'll leave the bridle on for a little while.
and maybe, you know, knowing all of that sort of signs, you know, from how horses learn and that sort of equine psychology background gives you, and that behavior. So, I mean, always people say like, well, is equine psychology and behavior different? Well, the behavior is actually the product of the psychology.
Yeah.
Trying to explain that to people is like, you've been able to see a behavior, recognize a behavior, and then actually understand the psychology of what's going on and how the mind is working to produce that behavior. So and trying to say to people there is a difference with that, you know. But you're looking at how horses learn and the product of what that looks like. So I think you're kind of bringing those two elements together really nicely, and I think that the bridleless would be a great one for people to work for, so we can look out for that one. So there's that side of it. And I mean, you both come up with really good names as well. So you come up with basically bridleless, which was great because keeping the bridle on. And then we've got pharmacy in your field. I mean, that was just such a great name. How did you come up with that?
I asked lots of people what they thought I should call it. What can people relate to? And they said, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I'm trying to make things to help you manage your horse's health using plants that are already there under your feet. And they went, well, the answer's kind of there. Oh, we're making a pharmacy and it's coming from the field. Yeah, got it.
Oh, it's a great, and I think that's a kind of a big cool. And you've got a new Facebook page as well for your remind me the name of the herbs.
Healing Herbs.
Healing Herbs, that's it.
Healing Herbs, pharmacy in your field.
I keep getting the word healthy.
I think the whole name, I had to create something more than Healing Herbs because most herbalists are relating to humans. So I think it says Healing Herbs, natural plant medicine for horses.
Oh, that's nice.
But I mean, horses kind of, you know, that's their environment. So that's when the best medicine for them is. But it's not all about medicine. With the prebiotic training treats, they're not medicinal. You know, there's some fun stuff in there too.
Oh, that's really nice. And that's really good about the prebiotic training treats. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I thought that formula could also work if you wanted to turn it into one of the allergy relief options. You could put it in that format because it works. Or if you've got a medicine you need to get into your horse, a pharmaceutical medicine, and he's struggling to take it, you can use that recipe, that formula, to help him find it more palatable.
Wow, that's actually. I was reading. Did you see the post Nick Hill shared yesterday?
I haven't seen a lot. I've been at one.
I know you've been working because you're over in the UK at the moment, and you're a nurse as well, aren't you? You're registered.
Well, I've worked with people with severe learning difficulties and complex physical difficulties, and I've been away from that place for 6 months, and it's a hard job. It really is. But it's somewhere I can take the herbalism as well. Sometimes the residents are having difficulties with things that the doctors just aren't interested in looking after, so we zip out into the garden and we go make something.
Oh, that's amazing. Well done, you. And yeah, I mean, massive, just because you're working so, and you're back in England, you've flown over, so you're away from your family in Bulgaria at the moment, and you're working hard, and you know, just everybody on the front line just needs a huge round of applause because you're just amazing. So thank you so much for.
Well, I've barely done anything. My colleagues have been doing it, and they've been doing that for months, and essentially they're just tired. So I'm coming in so that a few people can get a day off here and there. They've
I
been
mean, I'd love
getting
to do a whole
in
session without
masks
mentioning COVID.
and aprons and gloves, and you can't get your head around how many times a day they're having to wash their hands, gear up, go to a resident, strip off, wash their hands, go to the next, gear up, go to the next resident. It's insane.
Jeez. Oh, fair play to all of them.
So
So
yeah,
if
great.
it
That's
is
why
helpful.
in the lotion bar recipe, you'll notice that I make, I think, a dozen of them or so, and they were for the guys at work. I thought that they could probably use something for their hands.
Oh, that's lovely. That is fabulous. You're so good. You really are. So this thing that Nick shared, it's from another page, but it was talking about, that it was kind of suggesting that, the whole zoo pharmacognosy thing where like animals
Okay.
self-select things from their environment, saying, oh, that's fine in like primates, but actually when you apply it to horses, because a lot of them are not grow up in the same herd that they're born into, a lot of them aren't even brought up in herds because they're on their own. And it's saying, they kind of classed horses as possibly being nutritionally stupid, like not being able to recognize. And I just be like, just throw that out there. Like, what do we think about that? Do we think there's some degree of balance? But I don't think there's been any research into horses and self-selection.
I really don't think that, this is my own personal feeling,
Mm-hmm.
that horses are that stupid. I think they're a lot smarter than we perhaps give them credit for.
There'd be a lot of dead horses with ragwort.
They spent millions and millions of years evolving in this environment to live like this. And yeah, we've used them for a few thousand years, and I don't think we've knocked that out of them. Just because they've been domesticated for a while, I don't think is it not true of their other innate behaviors?
Well, yeah.
I just don't believe that we've lost that. Maybe we don't give them the opportunity to demonstrate it very often with the way that we've learned to keep them. But I don't believe that skill's gone. I did see something on this post. I certainly was talking to somebody, it was in a herbalism group actually, where they were saying about humans and their ability to choose the right plants for things. And I was saying, a friend of mine is one of Britain's national top dowsers, and she was saying that actually anyone can dowse. It's nothing to do with rods or special gifts. It's because human beings know how to find water. It's just that we don't practice it. And it's something occasionally you see in children. They will go and they will eat something that you think is really bizarre. Mine used to eat slugs. She's upstairs now, she's probably listening. She would occasionally go and eat slugs. One of my aunties used to eat the knees out of her rubber dolls because she was searching for some particular mineral that was missing from a diet that she had an imbalance for. So you see this in children. We haven't lost that behavior. I don't believe horses have. I think if you give them the opportunity, they know what to look for. They know how to find it.
I think there's definitely something to that, and I think my kind of response personally was to it that the reason why this research possibly hasn't been done is because if it was going to prove what Farmer wanted it to prove, they would have done it to have said, right, that doesn't work, so you're going to really need us because we can show you that it doesn't work.
Yeah, they can't disprove it, can they?
That's it. They can't disprove it. So there's no money in proving it. And it's kind of like, well, there isn't research, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that actually who's going to fund it. So it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it, to see that research? But I kind of agree with you.
Who's going to benefit from the funding? I mean, obviously the people at the end, the horses at the end, they're going to benefit from it. But the people who are paying for the funding, how does it benefit them? So it's kind of an empty subject. And there's so much out there in the plant world that we don't know. There are tens of thousands of plants out there, and we've studied maybe a couple of thousand to the extent that we know what they do and we know how to use them. The rest are still unknown to us, or information that's been historically lost.
I was going to ask if anybody wants to put any questions on the Q&A or in the chat as well for Sadie and Amelia and what they're talking about and their courses. It doesn't have to be on a specific course, but just on the subjects that they teach about as well, if you've got any questions. So yeah, just feel free. I'm just monitoring that now. So I know Monica, who was on the last time, she said hi and that she's here. So it's lovely to see you, Monica. Thank you so much for joining. Just remind everybody that code again is Beech20 if you want to grab 20% off Sadie's course at the end of this show. And we're going to be next time actually. We're going to be joined by Lara Spatelli, who is developing a hoof care course that's going to be out there very, very soon. And we've also got my head's going out now because it's been a long day. We've also got Monica's just put a post there. While I'm thinking, Monica's put a little question in the chat, so I'm just going to go to that.
Laura posted one as well.
I can't see that.
I was just going to bring that
I
up.
got it.
She posted that earlier on our conversation in a group.
Right, okay, because I'm not looking on the group. So Monica just put a question on there. I'm just going to see if I can. It's because I'm on the app and maybe things don't come up to me as well. So Monica says, how do you feel about this thought? And then she hasn't finished that. So I'm guessing there's another side to that. We're waiting.
I'm undecided.
Oh, no.
Well, Laura said that she had a young horse who's very sensitive to flies, and despite wearing a fly mask, this horse has scabs around her face from fly bites. And she said, what can I use on these scabs? So in the course, we cover lots and lots of different things that would do this. And there are 4 plants that immediately come to mind. So self-heal, St. John's wort, chickweed, and plantain. And you could make a combination of those. The formula I would suggest would be to put them in a salve, because it's easy to make and it's very buttery soft on the skin, right? And to some extent it provides some kind of physical barrier, but you can rub that in and it's nice and soft. And if you chose a combination of those plants, what you would have would be it being antibacterial, it being very soothing. It will soften the scabs without peeling them off and destroying that protein protective mesh that they create. And it will pain relieve as well as speed up the healing. So any one or any 2 of those 4 plants, make them in a salve. It's going to take altogether there's some waiting time depending on which method you choose, but physical putting together time, maybe about half an hour.
Wow, as quick as that. That's amazing. So
yeah, there is a waiting time involved, but only for an infusion to take place with an oil, and then physical actual building it together time, about 30 minutes altogether.
And your course shows people how they can make those salves as well.
Exactly how to do it, yeah, step by step. Each part of the process, how you do it, why you do it, different options to get to the same end result in case one option doesn't work for you. And there's videos, there's audio files, it's written down, and of course you're producing it all in PDF as well. So people can have that recipe. Yeah, it's a little booklet and go, oh, wait a minute, there's an idea for that, I'll get to it.
I think there's going to be a book in there somewhere, Amelia. I think you're going to have to come out with a book.
We need a book, okay.
I think
challenge accepted.
And for future as well, you're looking at so there might be some bolt-ons to the course as well.
Yeah, what I was thinking was maybe you were saying about possibly breaking it up a little bit. So I was thinking that maybe we could carve it into a way that there's an essential first aid 101, and then we could bolt on a winter package and a summer package, and yeah, see where it goes. Because I've just covered 20 basic plants, but there's a lot more. And it might be nice to explore cultivated plants or to look at kitchen plants, culinary plants. Yeah. I just went for wild weeds that people tend to get rid of in their field and don't want them, and because they don't realise what they're capable of doing.
That's fantastic. And if anybody
picture.
Well, if anybody has got anything that they want as well that to Amelia to cover, whether you're watching this live today or whether you're watching this on a catch up, comment, come and find us on the page as well, Equine Academy on Facebook or on Instagram. Yeah, and come and tell us what you would like. So this video is going to be posted on YouTube as well, so do come and tell us what you would like Amelia to cover. So before I was just mentioning about what we've got coming up for the next episode of the Equine Academy Open Night, and so we've also got Louisa coming from Truly Trust Equine, and she also has like an equine psychology course as well. She deals with specifically problem and rescue horses as well, and her videos would go looking at how to start from like zero, so balancing emotions, and then where are you working on from there. And I think it's great to see, like Sadie's course is fantastic because you're kind of working with the like sort of everyday horse, but if you have a horse that's got had severe trauma or emotional problems, then that's where Louisa's course is going to complement. And actually both courses, although they touch on the similar subjects and they've got core information, actually they branch off in different places, which is why the academy has taken both on board, because they both have great merits, and actually you could take both of them and they've both got strengths that you could pull together for even more information. So and
Louise's course could have saved me a lot of grey hairs. This guy here was the most traumatically the most traumatically abused horse I've ever met in my life, and to be honest, I would have given up on him had there been another option for him, but there wasn't. He was either with us or he was going to get shot. So we kept with him, and it took years to get to a point where he liked humans and he wanted our interaction. I mean, maybe 7 years. And I've worked with horses my whole life, and he was so far out of my league. I've never seen a more shut down animal and then wake up violently. I've got lots of scars and bruises and muscle compressions from him. And he's a really nice guy now, but that course could have probably saved us both a lot of heartache.
Oh, that's really nice, because we've all taken the courses, haven't we? I mean, obviously, I go through everything before it goes on the academy to make sure that it's going to work, and that it's going to give the information and kind of, you know, try and give you guys feedback and help you to develop certain parts of it as well. But one of the great things of being part of the academy for you is that you all get to work with each other's courses, because you're all being very good and you're keeping that to yourselves. So hopefully you're enjoying that. So I certainly enjoyed both of your courses, and like I said, I'm really looking forward. Amelia's course, we're hoping to have that. So Amelia's course and Lara's course hopefully going live in the next week or so. I've just got even more come through from you on the email today there, Amelia, but I won't be able to look at it till Monday, unfortunately.
Okay, that's a little late, but yeah, there's a couple more files to come through, audio files, and there's one error in there I need to correct.
Yeah. Oh, we've got loads coming up on the chat now. So right, okay. So someone's asked, how do we get Amelia's taster course? So if you want Amelia's free taster course, if you go to equineacademy.org, okay, and you go to free enrollment, if you enroll, all of the free courses will just land straight in your student area now. So you don't have to enroll on the free courses individually. You just go and enroll for free. All of the free courses will be there. You can access them straight away. There's no limitations on the free courses, okay, guys? And then there's the paid courses on there as well. And it is just pay as you learn. So there's no monthly fees or any of that sort of thing, because, you know, you just pay for what you need and you don't pay for what you don't need. And then you can add on as you go on. I'm just going to check. There's another couple of questions here. Let me just have a look at these. Just going through. So Lara says, so many people don't spend quality time just being with their horses and watching them browse hedgerows and licking soil, carefully eating around other plants. That's a really good comment there, Lara. I think for me, I kind of do like the horse listening side of things, where I think just all of us like going out and having non-demanding time with our horses is really important.
Yeah. I've done round-the-clock studies with mine where I've stayed with them for 24 hours photographing their choices at different times of the year, and they do select different plants or ignore different plants at different times of the year. I will go and you tend to get thickets of things growing, and I'll go and photograph them every hour and see where they are and what they come back to, and note down, well, you were eating that, and why were you eating that and not that, and why was nobody else eating that one, just you? And that gives you clues to about their health.
And actually, a lot of us, I don't think, have, you know, maybe so many plants and hedgerows. I mean, it just looks beautiful where you are. And I'd love to do that for my horses. Unfortunately, you know, where what is essentially in an ex-dairy farm, sheep farm, so it's all ryegrass, we've had to reseed and work our way, create a track system. So we offer the herbs individually. And, you know, so that for me is really helpful, because I can kind of note down what's going on. But I would much more prefer that they had that natural selection. But at the same time, I might not realize if anything's going on. So it's kind of like there's benefits to both sides of that, I think.
Yeah.
Like being out there, they can get what they need when they need it. However, if there is an issue going on, I'm not going to be as aware of it, because I don't know what they've eaten and what they've needed to take.
But you can monitor what they have had much more easily than when they're just out there on their own.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Most of this isn't for internal consumption. Most of this is things you can go and you can find in a grass verge or under a hedge or in woodland. Anywhere that's been abandoned or neglected, you're going to find most of the plants that we've talked about in the course, and you can just go and take them and keep them for when you do need them.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. You know, I started going on forage walks with my horses because we've really lost just so much. It's just nothing's growing this year
That's
for us.
fantastic.
And it's just lovely. I'm taking the mule out because she's basically like our big dog, and we take all the dogs out and the mule and the minis, and they just go and forage. And I actually love to see what she wants to eat, and I've been taking pictures of things, and I will at some point annoy you with pictures and say, oh, what's this? But I've got a plant identifier on my phone, but it doesn't tell me anything to do with the properties, which is
No.
you know. So I think we'd love to see an app from you as well, just like so there's a book and there's an app, and so we'll just keep demanding more from you, because in all seriousness, like what and how you put it all together, I think all of us would love to learn.
I did go a little crazy. I think there's something, I'm not even checked, but there's something like 2 hours of video material in that course, the full one.
That is,
I know the written side of it, there's I think 70 pages. I don't know, it's 17,000 words.
Jeez. So you didn't write a dissertation then?
My daughter's dissertation was half that size.
I was going to say, actually, yeah, it's only about 8,000 or 9,000 words, isn't it, for dissertation? And that's so exciting. And Sadie, I'm so excited to see you in a couple of weeks. And we're going to be doing a shout out as well on Equine Partnership. We're going to be doing a live chat on there as well, talking about bitless and bridleless. And you're going to come over and show me what I'm doing wrong with my horses. I completely admit that I'm probably doing something wrong. No one's perfect. But they're great now. So I'm working with them, trying to get them kind of working a bit, and we're hoping to get some kind of video footage, maybe some pictures as well. And our book, Bitless and Bridleless, will be out soon. We're just going to get a front cover photo shoot when city's over, and then we're good to go, people. So thanks for everybody.
I think we should do a triple tour next year.
Oh yeah, well my tour's going to hopefully come out in May, so everybody, the feedback has just been very much May, so UK May, and then hopefully there'll be a Europe tour as well at some point, so we'll see that.
Well, I will happily come over and do some workshops with you guys.
Oh wow, that'd be amazing. Equine Academy on tour, do you know?
Yeah.
Anybody like that idea? Let us know where you are and if you like it. Oh, before we go, because we are right on the last minute now. So Rodner has said, I have a track where we kill off the grass using Roundup, unfortunately. I'd like to know if there's anything I can sow or plant in the dirt track to stop the grass coming back. I have to respray again this year, so there was a lot of creeping buttercups, and I know they are toxic. Any suggestions would be appreciated. So Amelia, I'll let you just answer that one there.
Okay. Well, killing off grass is an art form. It's extremely resilient, but the plants that we're looking at are generally considered to be invasive. So if you take the free course, there are 20 plants that we cover. Often buttercup is a sign of an overgrazed pasture, but if you're working on a track, there's nothing you can do about that. So you have to accept that, work with your limitations. So find something that's more invasive than buttercup. And most of the plants that we're talking about are, if you just let them be, and some of them will grow from a chopped up root of another plant. You certainly don't have to go and buy seeds. Most of them you can collect seeds from. When they go to seed, you can just go out to the plant, put the plant head into a paper bag, snip it off, wait for it to dry out, and then give it a little shake. When the head's dry and all the seeds will drop into the paper bag, you have free seeds.
That's a great tip right there, isn't it? We're all going to go and do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I actually talk about when I'm going through the Field Safe fertilizer recipe, is harvesting the seeds so that you can use them for another recipe, and then take down the body of the plant for your fertilizer.
Rhoda says, thanks very much. That's really great.
Find something more invasive that's useful to your horse, and most of the plants on their course are safe for ingestion. There are just a couple we wouldn't recommend for ridiculous reasons.
Oh, that's great, guys. That's great. And Sadie, do you want to say anything before we head out there? Because I know Monica's mentioned a little bit about bits, and she said, look, if you feel like you need to stop with a bit, that means you've essentially got no control, really. And do you feel like, like we take it back, and it's like, well, basically bridleless, you have the bridle there for that extra control? Do you think that's just for the rider's psychology?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Obviously, like you say, to have the bridle not being there is going to make you feel a bit more concerned. Then leave it there, basically. But it is also for a case of you know, there are times when your horse might get distracted or just maybe isn't quite listening in that moment to you. And as I say, safety is always number one. You know, you can ride, this is the concept of basically bridleless. You can be bridleless, you can be riding bridleless while you're bridless on your horse. So you do have that safety. Because I mean, you know, I'm very lucky. I'm on a family farm. I can ride in enclosed fields that, yeah, there's a few trees I might get stuck under, but, you know, generally I'm in, you know, a nice big field where worst case scenario, we're just going to end up at the other fence line kind of thing, you know. But, you know, if you have people that are very, you know, are limited to maybe hacking out, being on public bridleways or whatever, you've just got to keep safety in mind as number one, you know. So if your bridle is there, you can have, you know, those little poppers that you can attach to your saddle so your reins won't slip anywhere, and you can just be using your cordeo to support your body aids, but you can be working on your bridleless riding with that safety net there.
Fantastic. And I think the thing with the cordeo as well, it's so important, like the placement of it's important. You talk about that, and you know, you're talking about looking at the design of the cordeo as well. And I know that, you know, is it okay to mention that you've been working on a little project? Or should we keep that secret for now? Is that, should we just leave people that wanting more? If you want to know more about Sadie's secret, then tune in with Equine Partnership in a couple of weeks and all will be revealed. How's that? Is that mysterious enough for you?
Talk about creating suspense.
I know, it's you know, it's serious. And if you get too much anxiety for that, there's probably something in Amelia's course that will solve that. So thank you both. I know we've got over time. We've got loads of people saying thank you for the webinar, and thank you, Sadie, thank you, Amelia, and thanks to everybody as well for being so kind and working around my limitations this evening. I really appreciate it from everybody. And I just want to say again, that green screen is amazing, and that's just everything that we've done previously. So you set the bar really high there, Amelia, for the next one.
That's my child. I just said, can I not look like I'm sat by a wood chip wall? And she went, yeah, I can find a photo of the field. Because
okay, because she said to me, I can do that for the future.
Look, the animals are behaving well. This is great. This is a first.
Well, Ruth just said thank you as well. So thanks, Ruth. Thanks so much for joining in.
Thank you, everyone that's joined us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been
wonderful. Enjoy the courses and go on and enjoy them there. So we're going to say goodbye now.
Yeah.
And if you want to tune in for the next one, if you go to equineacademy.org, I'll be releasing the next one. You'll be able to register for that. And I won't be setting it on a date. And again, I didn't plan to do this on this date. It's because my car broke down. But, you know, we are where we are. And it's been great. It's been fantastic. It's been completely off the hoof. And I'm going to count how many puns at the end of this, you know. So how many puns at the end. So thanks again, guys. And
thank you so much.
See you again next time.
See you on the open the student group.
Soon.
Yeah, on the Student Academy Facebook page. Bye.